All right, here is our next sewing lesson. We have a pair of pants that I think are a little too big in the waist and in the hip. Let's get into them. Okay, so you can see there's some room there. And then also you can see they are big here. Here. What I'm gonna do is, so there's a side seam, there is no belt loop here, and this is kind of hard to do on yourself. I'm gonna fold it. It's gonna be hard for me to do by myself, but I'm pinching it and sticking a pin through it. Do I want to do on the other side too? Yes, still big over here. I may not be pinching the same amount on each side. I don't know. Trying my best to. Ugh. So much easier when you have a friend. Hold on. Ugh. There we go. Okay. Now we got the waist pinned. We still have the hips. So we're just gonna go down, just a pinch. Down a little bit. Almost impossible. Impossible. Oh boy. And I'm gonna do the same on the inside, but I'm not about to pin that. But you can see it's gonna look better once it's more fit, okay? Let's get these off. First, I just wanna show you, this is where the pins are. Oh, we have a pin here, and I'm going to just bring the ends together and see that they're lining up. So I was pretty good in my guessing on the top. Going down the side, I only pinned one side. It was hard enough to pin one side. So I'm just gonna lay one on top of the other and try to match the pins. Got our pants laid out. This is exactly where I want it to be. I'm gonna put this right back in where it was, but I'm not catching both sides. I'm only doing one side, okay? Same thing here. It's only about a 1/2 inch that we're taking it in, all the way through the hip area. Okay. And here as well. And at this point, we're just gonna run straight into the side seam that's already there. And now we gotta do the same thing to this side. I'm going to turn it inside out after I remove this pin, okay? Okay, you can see very clearly where the pins are. And I'm gonna lay this right on top. I can kind of feel the ball of the pin. Put one there, put one here, here. Now, normally I would never do this by hand. This is the last pin right here, but I'm just gonna kind of taper it right into the side seam. Same thing here. Okay, so now we got all our pins in place. And now, I forgot to put these on the inside. Those are the pins from the outside, which is why sometimes it's easier to just try it on inside out. That way you don't have to move and adjust your pins. They're already where you want them to be. We're all pinned in place, and now we're going to start hand sewing. We have our needle, our thread. I'm going to double this up because I want this to be a very strong stitch. It is on the hip, so it's going to be pulled pretty tight. I'm sitting down, standing up, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't pop. So I pull my thread out really long, and now I have this, see this loop? I'm gonna kind of roll it together, make it thin so I can get it through the eye of this needle. And I'm going to pull it through until I see the end. I have the ends together. And I'm going to snip, tie a knot. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers once. And then I'm going to shove the tail of the thread through this loop twice. Wrap it around. There's a tail. Shove it through once, twice. Pull it. Okay? And we have a knot. I'm going to trim some of that. Now let's sew. So I'm going to start here where the stitches already are. I'm not taking any stitches out. Since we're doing this by hand, it's already serged on the inside. If I was taking this in a lot more, let's say like 3-4 inches, I would not want the bulk of this on the inside of my pants, so I might trim away at that. But then I'm not sure, depending on the fabric, it may, start to unravel, fray. So to start sewing, I'm going to go in my fabric and out, same time. I'm holding my thumb on top of the thread so that it doesn't get all tangled up. Now I'm going to come back about 1/4 of an inch and then go forward. I'm going to come back and meet that last stitch I just made and go forward. This is called the back stitch, I believe. So I'm coming back and go forward. And you can see I'm slowly coming away from the stitch that's already here. That's how I'm going to taper myself off and make my way towards this first pin to take it in the proper amount. I'll just keep pointing my needle towards that pin. And now we are here. Okay. So now I'm going to remove this pin. Now, if you have some tailor's chalk, you probably don't if you're watching a how to sew video. But even a light pencil line could help you stay on track. It's very easy to go a little bit crooked. If I needed a guide, I would just do this. Pencil would be better than a pen. Okay. And that way, the pens won't be in my way. I can just keep going along that line. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. On the right side, the outside. It's pretty tight. It's pretty good. I wonder if this is the stitch they used back in the day before before sewing machines were so common and widespread. It looks like I could have made my thread a little bit longer because it's feeling very short now. Oh yeah, I got a long way to go and very little thread. Okay, to end this off in the middle, meaning I'm not finished, I'm going to go in, come up, try to come up in the same spot, put my needle through the loop, pull tight, take another stab at that loop, make another loop, pull my needle tight. Yeah, and now get more thread. Okay, we're gonna start same way. Now, normally I would never do this by hand because the sewing machine is going to give you the tightest stitch. But I understand everyone doesn't have access to a sewing machine. Okay, and we continue right up into the waistband. Even though it's thicker, we just do the same thing all the way to the top. And I just try to make sure when I get here to where the waistband gets thick, where we're starting on the elastic part, I'm going to stick a pin here to make sure that it's even. So you see I went right into the thread. On this side, it's right in the thread, so it should be even. It works on the sewing machine. I've never done it while hand sewing, so we'll see. If it doesn't work, we've learned this together. It's a little harder to push through, so I've got to kind of push it all the way through, pull, and then try to come back up in the right spot. It's so thick. There we go. Let's do this. Just gonna loop it right over the top. And then inside here, I'm gonna make a knot. Go in, but don't go all the way through. Pull it tight. Go in. Like just picking up a little piece of thread or fabric. I pull it. I don't go all the way through. I pull a knot. And I do it again. Keep that loop. Make it a knot. And now we clip thread. And we gotta do the other side.
2 very boring minutes later.
Need a little more pressing here. But no slack. Much, much better. All right. I will see you guys at your next sewing lesson.